Yes, that is important because it can be quite lonely here in the States when you leave and you come across to specifically, a state with 4 seasons. That can pose a problem to, making new friends and settling down. If you have a familiar face there, it really does help. And coach, you touched on junior colleges, and I think this is something we really need to maybe drive this point home with the Caribbean student athletes, because they have this feeling that going to junior college is beneath them, and it's really not. No. It's really not. And as you mentioned there, from one of your top players that come through the junior college system, coach, if you want to attest to that. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I've had several that has gone through that pathway. And you see, if you don't have the subjects to go to a Division 1 or Division 2 school, I find that when the Caribbean players go overseas and go into junior college, they do well. Yes. They come out well. I don't know if it's the approach of this system, the teaching system. I don't know. I can't speak to that, but I know they go and they don't. Very few fail. Right. And then so they can qualify for the 4-year college, where there'll be a Division 2, Division 1 school. Very few. And also they are getting an opportunity for education, because what the cost of that is. Yes. So they can take that burden off their parents by doing well in school to graduate. So from the moment a child can play and it's recognized by the coach or the parent, they should be given advice onto what they can achieve and what they need to get to that level. And it's simple. Just make sure you graduate from high school. Make sure. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So that's what it needs. That they get to that level where they can matriculate into a junior college, from there onto the senior college, until the other 4-year college. It's very important. But those things must happen. And I want to say something before I forget. Also, when they're preparing to go to college overseas, a lot of them forget that there are going to be holidays and what they would do when holidays come. And so they have to bear those things in the back of their mind. Holiday come Christmas, you have to find money to come back home, or stay with somebody there. So you have to plan for those things. Some might stay for summer school, but they have to bear those things in mind. You don't want to go there and then you're there nowhere to go. In the breaks. But I said the coaches do a very good job advising them on what to expect.
Beautiful. And coach, just to emphasize something that you mentioned, some information that you gave in terms of the junior colleges. The system, for instance, the junior college that I coach at, what we do there is we work on the foundations with the student athletes to really get them ready to go on to a college and university. Yes. After they finish in the 2 years. And this is what is very much important, that we revisit some of the work and the studies that they did in the Caribbean region, and give them that foundation, give them that discipline, that organizational skill in the junior college, so they can move on now to a university and a college and be successful. And I think a lot of the Caribbean island students need that. You really
definitely, and that's why I like what you're doing. I like how you're organizing and advising and making sure that these young kids, boys and girls, know exactly what is required of them. And it is a situation that I think oftentimes, especially when people come down to do a showcase, and the players are not prepared. No information on them, nothing on them. Then the coach comes in and has to go away and ask them all these questions when it could be there, and at the same point could be to their parents, and advise them as to what is expected of them, what can they look forward to, what kind of expenses they're going to come up against, and be prepared. Because you remember, and now that it's COVID and the the windows for getting their visas is like, I think now if you go for a visa now, it's probably in 2023.
Mhm.
You know, and our kids leave school like in July, I think it is. Yes. The colleges start in August.
Yes.
First, second week in August or so. So a coach wants to get you through the process from February to prepare you all the way through. So everything has to be in place. And if they are advised of the things that they need, it will cut a lot of the red tape and get them going quicker.
Yes, Coach. I think there's one for more information with the showcases that are taking place in the Caribbean region. It should more be about development and creating opportunities for these kids, but also educating the kids on the process that they have to go through, and also let them know for sure it's you are a student athlete. And,
yes.
And this is not just about soccer. You're a student athlete, so you have to balance. And this like a reroute or go back to what you started saying in the beginning, how where you were in a tournament and you had different kids from different countries on their laptop doing their schoolwork.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it reroutes to that to give them the idea, so they will have a better understanding of the environment that they are entering.
Yeah.
You know,
and you make a good point there, and that's why I raised it. You know, that's why I raised it. But now, with the advent of the social media, the online learning, it is much easier than 12 years ago. Yes. You know, when they hardly could get time off from college to come represent the country because they had to finish this, you know, or they didn't do so well in class, so they have to do summer camps and summer classes and all that. So it's good. It's a good environment. So sometimes we forget to teach. And as I said, computer, cell phone and a computer are two, although you can do a lot of things on your cell phone now, but certain works you have to have a computer, right? A lot of athletes that go away, their parents cannot afford a computer. Mm-hmm. I think some things like that they have to take in consideration before they fly out also. Yes. You know, I've had to support some athletes I've sent away and they're buying computers for them. But how maybe, so we have to start thinking about those little things, the little details that can affect you. You go to a class, no computer, everybody using a computer, you know, you might get a tablet, whatever it is. So we have to think about, let's say getting a scholarship is one. That's it. I think that's the easy part. Yes. But you get the scholarship because you're recognized as a good player from observation, you know. Yes. And but the other parts, preparing for the scholarship is an area I think we have to educate the parents, more so the parents, on what is needed, what is required. What is required? Yes. Yes, very much important, Coach, because this is what our program is really about, coaches. It's really, you know, giving this the information of the things that is required, you know, before, during, and after, that you can be properly prepared. So when you get there, you have the information, you do the research on the school, you know, because the coaches are doing research on it. Yes. You need to do research on the program, do research on the place that you're going to be staying, and on the kids on the team, and some of the teams you're going to be playing, some of the schools you're going to be playing against too. Yeah. You know? I've had an occasion, Coach, where a player was recruited and she didn't know it was a Christian school. A Christian, and she was the furthest away from that at the moment. So she could not cope. She had to transfer out, you know, and so it might sound, you know, but it can happen. I just say research the school you're going, find out. Sometimes research the coach. You never know. You know, research it, but where is this school located? You know, and do they have other Caribbean students there? Anything like that. But I think that getting to a college is important, and you have to learn to adapt. And that is important. You know, when you get to the college, hey, you're going to miss home. Of course, you're going to miss home. At first, you probably leave and go, you see different culture, come with different, the teammates are from different countries. Because the college program is not just American. You know, they have people from Africa, people from China, people from all over the place, Germany. And you have to assimilate in that society, in that environment. So you have to, people, I say what you're doing, I am really, really behind it, because they have to have this information going forward, or they come home.
Sure, sure. And parents, I know a lot of you guys are listening on all the social media platforms and also here on Zoom to really get the information. And no question is really a foolish question, guys. Because one of the things you have to really think about, you're very happy for your kids to travel and go to school, but at the end of the day too, you want to make sure that your kid is ready and they have that information. So when you log on to shows like this too, you want to have your kids there log on with you to ask questions, because we bring up a lot of collegiate coaches too on the set. So you have that opportunity to text your questions to get some answers from the collegiate coaches who can guide you on their programs. Because I have a lot of collegiate coaches coming up. We had some already, and a lot of them right now are in discussion, and they're very happy to come and talk about their program, because this is the time of the year they go hunting, if you want to call it for want of a better word. They go scouting, looking for kids and looking for kids who can fit inside of their program.
Yeah, you have to do that. And another thing I have to point out is that when you're offered a scholarship, get the details.
Yes.
Don't wait until the child gets there and you hear that, oh, you need to find $1,500 for A, B, and C. Those things should be given to you up front. And I'm not saying the coaches oftentimes try to, trick you into letting the child come and then tell you what's happening after. Sometimes it's just a genuine forget that, they're so caught up in getting the player across. But I've had that situation. We have got players and another full scholarship, and then you hear, oh, it's going to cost, they have to come up with $2,500 for the semester. They need this month to pay for books. And at the beginning, they weren't told that. So you have to be very prudent. You have to make sure you check these things out. What is it that is required of me when she comes? What is needed. Sometimes they're gonna when they get there, they have to buy sheets and pillows and all those things for the room. And some parents think everything is provided. The bed is there, but you have to come with these things. You have to get up there and go buy stuff for yourself. And then they never sort of a plan for that or budgeted for that.
Well, Coach Vin, that is why we continue to again push what we're doing here, because we want to really share the information so that you don't really go into these things blindfolded, and then you reach into a point where you're surprised. Like, for instance, I spoke to a parent. I told a parent in Trinidad and Tobago, it's not like your kid is going to Trinidad and you in Tobago and you can catch your boat to the plane and go there in 10 minutes and reach. It's really not that. You really got to get the information. I know you're happy that your kid is going to school, but I'm going abroad, and we are all proud and happy for the kids from the Caribbean region. But we really want to get this information, read the fine lines, ask these questions, so you will be better informed and educated about the process. Like, for instance, a 2-year school, if you're going to a junior college, these are some of the things you want to talk about to the coach and the AD. Would you be assisted to, after the 2 years is finished, to be recommended to a college or universities? These are things that coaches want to hear from you.
Yes, yeah, that is true. And I find that even some players are fortunate enough to bond with a teammate.
Yes.
And when they get a break, they can go stay by their homes for that period. The parents, a lot of parents are welcoming because they know the situation, but not all of us are that lucky.
Yes.
But it's good for you to be you can't be antisocial when you get into those environments. You have to reach out, and because they're there. Some kids come from the same community, the same state, so they know exactly what happens. Sometimes you want a ride to go to the airport to come back home, they can help you. The coaches do a lot for them too. The coaches will sometimes themselves drop them to the airport, pick them up from the airport. And at 90% of the time, when they're coming, the coaches will arrange for them to be picked up. Those things happen, but we can't assume because this girl went and that happens for her, you figure the same thing going to happen for you. It's not like that. So it's a huge undertaking when you send a child out. The first time, oftentimes it's first they're traveling. Maybe 80% of the time, the first they're traveling from the, they may travel, I just say they may travel from Trinidad to Tobago, which is a different type of traveling, but leave from Trinidad and go to Wisconsin and go to some remote places where the schools are. You walk, you see deers running around the place, and you wonder what the hell this is, but you have to, I will really, really advise parents to really, dig in deep and see, because everything, there's no secret to the colleges. You can Google and you see everything that's there. And you ask the coaches, oh, I see this, does this apply to my daughter, my son? It has to be a question and answer thing.
Yes. And Coach Vin, I know you mentioned to me just now you have between 7 to 9 on your national senior team presently. And how would you say how when they return to play, how do they fit in with the other girls? Yes, they are Jamaican kids, but you would see a difference in them.
Total difference, Coach. I have a young lady that she was voted a young player of the World Cup in 2019, Jody Brown. Yes. Jody Brown left from a rural part of Jamaica. Yes. And you saw her, she's shy, wouldn't carry a conversation properly, because that's what she was exposed to, in a sense. Yes. And I find that she's been in college now for about 3 years, and she holds a good conversation. She's not afraid to answer questions. She's not afraid to ask questions, and I think that helped her, and helped her confidence. And she's not the only one. I had one from Grenada, that when I was in Grenada, I sent her to college. She was actually doing construction work out of school, because she never had anything after she left high school. And I got her a scholarship. And I tell you, this coach at first, after 3 months and I started talking to her, I could not believe it was the same person. Right? I saw her recently when we played Grenada. And it's a totally different young lady, and I think, it helped. So the college system, some people might have a difficulty with their own problems with it, but I've been around for some years now, and I've seen it help a whole lot of young ladies and boys who would have nothing to do back home, really. Go work in a store, or go, find a media job here, and they went to college and they got education. Some stay, some stayed and did get married and did well for themselves. They didn't play professional ball, but at least they get an education and they have a lifestyle that can help their family back home to come, to the States, if that's what they want. Some come back home. A lot of them come back home and they do in a professional environment, not football, but a professional work environment.